Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Say Report. I'm your host, Devon Decker, and joining me is my host companion, Sejohn Sarwick. Hi, Sejohn.
Hi, Tiff. As usual, you are much more awake and ready for the day than I am.
I've been up since 6 a.m., and I was out until midnight last night. I don't know what it is. I don't know where my natural energy comes from.
Well, what have you been up to? What did you get up so early?
Well, I got up early because I wanted to make sure I got my laundry done before I recorded. And I said I was going to play some games and be done with some games by this. I didn't do any of that this week. Immediately after we finished recording, I beat 2 bosses in Little Nemo and the Guardians of Slumberland. But then I never went back to it until this morning, where I played for about an hour. And then Raccoin, I've yet to clear a run. My highest is 13 of 15 in a run. And then the target score just gets so high, Siege.
Yeah. No, I have noticed. I have also been playing Raccoin.
Good, I'm glad. So so that's been good. And then Shinobi being the big one. Because I'm like, I'm going to be done with that DLC, and I haven't. I am happy to report that even though the game just feels like a disconnected crystal tunnel, once you finally get to the fight with Goro Makima, what the heck is his last name? I have 3 different spellings in my head, and I'm going to have to type
Ex Machina? I don't know.
I think it's Makima, right? Goro Makima? Chainsaw Man she's the girl, so that's what I think I'm at. Majima. Goro Majima. He's not Spanish. I don't know why I gave the J sound there. Yeah, Goro Majima. He is the boss of the Yakuza stuff. And when you get to that, like, it looks like you're into the Yakuza city. Like, that's awesome. And his fight is a fucking ass. It's a lot of fun. Like, I'm really enjoying that Shinobi Art of Vengeance, learning how to fight a boss, like recognizing the patterns and that. And then, like, once you get him down to half health, he takes off his jacket, and then he's all like tatted up Yakuza bad guy or Yakuza bad guy. But then he hits like a truck. Like, you get hit once, you're pretty much dead in the second half of the fight. And everything gets like doubled, but not everything gets doubled. Let me explain that, because that sounded like crazy words, what I just said there. So, in the first phase of the fight, he does a thing where he summons 4 like shadow versions of himself. And if you get hit by the shadow versions, you get wrapped up in like shadow stuff. And then the remaining shadow versions attack you before Goro ultimately does like a big attack to you, which is cool, which is very cool. But there's a 4th guy like hidden behind him. Like, there are 3 in front of him, so I thought it was just 3 that I had to avoid. And then like the 4th one got me the first time I realized what was happening. And then when you get to the second phase, he still summons 4 guys, but each of their strikes is 2 shadows. So, like, you have to be like aware as you're avoiding the one shadow to not go into the path of the secondary shadow. But he also has a move where he goes, "It's showtime," like he's fucking Beetlejuice, and then he spins around throwing his like knife. And in the first phase, he does 3 cycles of that before, like, he drops back to the ground and you can begin fighting him again. In the second phase, how many times do you think he does this, Sejohn?
6 or possibly 8.
He does it 5 times.
Oh, okay.
Which was like a real fuck you surprise.
Like that's where we were going, which sounds insane.
Right? Like 6 is
alone, I mean, does.
6 is exactly what I thought. So I ended up like I dodged, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll have to dodge one more time. But I was like, I'm not near him. So I did that dodge for nothing. Like, I had done the 5th dodge, and I would have been there to like take advantage of him like recovering. But then I dodged away, assuming it would be 6. Basically, what I'm saying is like, big ups to Lizard Cube and .emu for just like making this DLC fucking great. Like, honestly, like, I have not enjoyed DLC. I do think the level design is still a little bit sparse. So so it looks like each thing is a level that is just fighting, and then a level that's a little bit of fighting, and then you fight the boss. That's based purely on how the Yakuza section works. That second level was real good, like platforming, some real like nice stuff shinobi wise that I really enjoyed. And now I'm at the boss fight and like he's kicking my ass. I got him down to the lowest that I've gotten him right before we recorded. That's why we're a little bit late starting, because I was like, I could do it, and then like I couldn't do it. I'll admit that. But yeah, so it was an interesting, like, it's been an interesting time, but I accomplished nothing video game wise that I said I was going to accomplish video game wise.
All right. Well, yeah, I've been chugging along with Dice a Million. But like I said, I checked out Raccoin, on your recommendation, and the style of it and stuff is pretty cool. I like it. It is definitely, the gameplay loop on Raccoin is not quite doing it for me. And so like I don't know what it is. I haven't been able to put my finger on it, because like the elements are all there, right? Like the concepts, the rules, and all that sort of stuff. Did you ever play Luck Be a Landlord? Have I ever talked about that?
No, I've never played it. You have mentioned it before, but
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay if we
So
talk
it's
about
another
it
one of
again.
these numbers go up games where
Yeah.
you're doing a little bit of deck building and stuff, right? But what it is that one's a slot machine, right? Whereas this one's a coin drop, and then like Dice a Million is dice, and Belatro's cards. Like its whole thing is that it's a slot machine, and you're buying different symbols for the slot machine, and depending on what they do, they do all sorts of different things together and stuff like that. And like there's the gameplay loop on it is satisfying for about 30 minutes for me, and then after that it's just kind of boring, to be entirely honest. And I think that I'm kind of hitting that same issue with Raccoin, is that like I can play it for like 20 minutes no problem, but any more than that and I start to kind of really lose focus. And so I don't know why there's other ones like Balatro or Dice a Million in this vein that I can't look away from. There's something about the presentation, or the way that the information is being doled out, that it just feels so much more like, I feel like I have to be more on my toes in Balatro or in Dice a Million. I feel like I have to be consistently thinking, okay, these rings work with this dice, or this Joker is going to work in this way with that Joker combined with this special card I have. So I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for that kind of success. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm not finding that in Raccoin. Maybe it's just because I have only played it for about an hour and a half so far. It's not like I'm very deep into it, but I'm not finding that like that element of trying to figure out ways to break the game yet, which is, I mean, conceptually the whole point of these games, right, is the idea is like, fuck with this stuff until you break it, and then when you break it you get a lot of points.
The ultimate thing that you always talk about, where like you're weak in the beginning, but eventually you get to that point where you're sticking your foot up the ass of every enemy, where like nothing can stop me. I am God in this game now. And yeah, I think the issue with Raccoin is because I've watched people break it. Like I had it on as background noise while I was doing something last week. I'm just like, this will be good background noise, and it was fun. But that guy like cleared 2 runs in a row, and like was just like, his score was E8. Like over 1 billion points. Like it was insane to watch him do it. And all he was really doing was just like holding the W button. Like just anytime he had coins, he'd dump them all into the middle of it. So like there had to be something else that like was synergizing that I wasn't getting there. But yeah. And I think the issue that I have with Raccoin, what you just discussed is that like right now my goal with Raccoin is just to clear 1 run. And honestly, I think that when I do that, I'm probably never going to play the game again, which is a weird thing to say. Like, it's like, I want to do this one thing in the game, and then I might be done with the game. Who knows? Maybe in so doing, I'll like unlock something that will make me want to continue with it. But it's very RNG heavy in a way that even in something like Balatro, it's pretty, like, there's still random number generation, right? There's still a randomness to it, but it's pretty easy to mitigate that to do what you want to do. if I'm playing Raccoin and I get the coins that make it that every coin is worth 2 coins, like I just want to reset. Like that's just not fun. Like there's no outside, right? Like Vampire Survivors, which like roguelite, definitely the game I've spent over 500 hours in that, right? Like that is a game I have dedicated a lot of time to. And you know, just a fact. But like even though like in the beginning I'm like, oh, I just want to beat a run, once I like realized all the systems and everything, like there's a lot you can do in that game to level up. Raccoin doesn't really have that.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. So there's this idea that like you don't feel like you're starting from zero every time, right? You do want to start from the beginning, but you don't want to feel like you have to. You're basically resetting the game every time, and that is where I am at as well with Raccoin. Is it feels like, if I don't get a good couple of runs in, I might as well just start all over because I'm going to lose all this anyway when I inevitably lose. There's an inevitability to Raccoin that makes it a little less interesting to me, I think.
Yeah, like if I am able to get the add your additional coins to the next round perk in like round 3, I know I'm going to go far. Because, like, I'll just fill up all my exchanges before I go to the next thing, and then I'm starting with, like, 90 coins. Like, it really is, it's such a strange game. I enjoy playing it, I'll say that, but it is one of those things that, like, once I do the win condition of clearing a run, I don't know how, like, quick I'll be to run back to it. And then I think of something like Queue Up, right? The literal coin flipping game that like was satire about like what is I can't even think about it, competitive gaming, right? Like esports stuff. Like that game's all satire, but that game, that is like the definition of a RNG numbers go up style game. As you keep playing it, they keep adding mechanics to it, and like I feel like I have some control over what's happening there in that game. Like, where with Raccoin, I just feel like I have no control over it. Mm-hmm. It is all about, like, what is my point here? And honestly, I don't know if you've realized this in the time we do it. If you hold down the shoot buttons long enough, you can lock them to auto shoot. And then it's almost like, what am I doing here? Like I don't need to be here for this.
Yeah, it just becomes cookie clicker at that point, right? Yeah. Like what am I doing except letting this game run in the background on my computer and use up RAM?
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'm glad that you played it. I'm glad you did it. I'm not upset that I got it, especially at the price that I got it. And I think the real gross thing is like Dale was like, this makes me want to play them in real life. It really does make me want to play like the Castlevania Marbles game again, which like that will cost me hundreds of dollars. Like I know that like I get into that and I'm like dumping money into that machine, and honestly for nothing. At least with something like Raccoin, I can get that. But there's no dopamine. You know what it is? Raccoin doesn't give you the dopamine because you don't feel like you're part of it. Where, like, I feel like I'm part of it when I'm, like, actually at the live machine. And I get the dopamine. I don't get it from Raccoin. It's weird. And if we're going to talk about gameplay loops, it is the gameplay loop of Little Nemo Guardians of Slumberland that I have an issue with. I know you haven't played it, but did I mention at all, like, the moon system of that game?
No.
So
what is the...
Okay, so first of all, Little Nemo Guardians of Slumberland feels like it is a game that was made by somebody who was only told about the original Little Nemo on NES.
Yeah, in general, like as a character in some places. But the moon, just like for instance, is actually kind of like an interestingly like always present figure in the comics and in the movie and in like the moon is like a part of the it's like Pride Rock and Lion King, right? Like you can't imagine Lion King without Pride Rock. I can't imagine a Little Nemo story that does not reference or show the moon in some beautiful way, right?
Yeah, because he's sleeping, right? He's in slumberland. There's a whole thing about it being nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that I say that is not because of the moon. It's what the moon represents in the game. This is insane. Okay. So for starters, you collect candy in the game. That's where I come from, like the Little Nemo, somebody only told me about this game sort of thing. Because candy is a huge element of the NES game. It is literally until the 8th level where the game becomes a different game. Little Nemo on the NES is such a it's a beauty. I love it. Because for 7 levels, it is all you have is the ability to throw candy. And if that hits an enemy, it briefly stuns them. But if it hits an ally and you give them 2 more pieces of candy, you get to wear their skin. Now, that's like just the frog and the mole that you wear their skin. Oh, the bee, you wear the bee's skin. But you ride like the lizard or the gorilla or the pink fish. But sometimes Little Nemo feeds these animals this candy that puts them to sleep. And then he climbs inside of them to use them as transportation. I would love Little Nemo to have a conversation with like a therapist and discuss his dreams. So I was in a forest full of mushrooms.
Yeah, well, but what a weird art direction, like split, right? Like, why is it not just one or the other? At least if it was one way, you could then work in some stuff about like, oh, they give you a costume to wear or something. But by acknowledging that you ride some of them, it implies that the ones that you climb inside of could have just been ridden.
I guess I could just be on your back. And like the weird one is like the pink fish that
I like to put you in my mouth.
That pink fish that I bring up, who's only in level 4, the Night Sea, he like shrinks down to ride on the back of that fish. It's not like he's Little Nemo sized. Like he shrinks and gets smaller to ride on the back of the lizard. And the gorilla and the mouse is like a giant mouse for some reason. I don't know why the mouse is so fucking big. But like, you could just shrink and then you're on the back of the frog. No. Little Nemo's head is like sticking out of his mouth. Like, yay, I'm in the frog. The really, like, it's painful kind of is the mole. Because like you feed the mole the candy and you climb into his mouth. And he's wearing a helmet, like he's wearing a little miner's helmet. Nemo is now wearing that helmet, and like the head of the mole is like behind him like the hood of a sweatshirt. Like that mole is dead.
That
Nemo
it's
drugged
like body
that
horror,
mole. Like... Yeah, like drugged that mole, carved his skin off of him, and is now wearing it. Like, it's crazy stuff. So I understand why candy would be in this game, but candy is a currency in Guardians of Slumberland. Like you find the Guardians and they'll sell you like a pajama set that is themed on them for like 200 pieces of candy is the people that I found so far. I don't know if that's going to go up. The last Guardian that I rescued was the Guardian of the Crystal Caverns. Who's in bat pajamas, and he's like, first you need to find your cape, and then I can sell you bat-themed pajamas that will give your cape a buff. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you for that. Like, everybody else has just had pajamas for me. But yeah, I guess I'll go find another item and then come find you again. Thanks, Oliver. I remembered his name. But because we're in a post-Shovel Knight Dark Souls environment, you only hold on to your candy until you die. And when you die, Captain Sweet Tooth, who's a pirate, steals your candy. And he holds on to it in his, like, bank. But you only get to hold on to half of what you have. The other half is, like, his wetting his beak for, like, having saved the candy. And I don't want to go back to that guy to see how much candy I actually have. But I know that I've lost like hundreds of pieces of candy, like per death at any given time.
Nice.
So like, but we have to talk about the candy because the moon system is nuts. There are two styles of moon. There are yellow moons and there are blue moons. Now, every area of the game has more than 10 blue moons in it, but the first 10 blue moons are important to find because once you do that, you unlock fast travel for that area of the map. Now that's cool. I like it. It gives me a reason why I'm seeking out the blue moons. It does suck because you're like, oh, I got all 10 blue moons in this section. And then it reveals that there's like 14 more that you have to find. And some of them are kind of difficult to find. There's a lot of like, you know, the cool S that like nobody knows the origins of?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
the 6-line S.
The graffiti S.
Yeah. If that's like on a wall, spoilers for something from Guardians of Slumberland that I want you to learn. If a wall has that little logo on it, it means it's a fake wall and you can just walk through it. Which is cool, but it's a cool thing. But like, there's a lot of that around, and a lot of the blue moons are behind things like that, or just like some like crazy like, oh, I wonder if this wall that doesn't look breakable is breakable. It is, and there was nothing to indicate that. Like, I don't. It's just a thing. So that's what the blue moons are. The most important thing is to get 10 in any given section so that not only can you fast travel within that section, but you can fast travel back to that section if you happen to be in another section. Like I said, like, screw you, Oliver, with the whole cape and the bat pajamas. But, like, once I get the cape, I'm just going to fast travel to Oliver. Like, I know that that's how I'm going to do it. But it's fun to give him shit because he's like a little scaredy boy. Right? His whole thing, like, the crystal caverns are that thing where you go to listen to the things that make you happy that other people might not understand. I also don't know if I love how they're, like, psychologically representing Nemo in Guardians of Slumberland in a lot of ways. It's a lot more analysis. And I said it'd be great to have him, like, sit down with Sigmund Freud and be like, so I had this dream where I fed a frog 3 pieces of candy, and then I climbed in his mouth and he jumped around with me in there. Tell me about your mother. Was she a large
somewhere
woman?
on the internet, somebody's already digging this game.
But yes, so... But then the yellow moons, so your whole hit point system is tied to collecting moons to fill up a meter. And then if you're damaged, that meter fills, it heals you back to full strength. The more yellow moons that you collect while at full health, that meter fills again and you can rank up. And when you're ranked up, enemies are harder. Like they're like these pink little, like they kind of look like blowfish enemies. And when you ranked up from like initial little Nemo, instead of being stationary, they move around in like a circle. Like where they would be stationary, kind of like the disco balls from Super Mario Brothers 3. Where they would have been as the pink blob is their center point, and then they like rotate and orbit around where that thing would have been. If you're able to not take damage and fill up the meter a third time, then you hit max rank. And that means any moon that you pick up is converted to candy. You get like a flip jump, like he does a somersault, and it's got a little bit of extra height to it. Right? Like it's not a huge advantage or anything like that.
Flip.
Yeah, right. So you do all sorts of... That happens, and then the enemies get even harder to like, fight. But the thing that pisses me off about that is, when you are at max rank, anything you kill explodes into stars that can damage you, And like, so you, if you want to stay in max rank and be killing stuff and be collecting like the most candy possible, anything you murder, you have to like be ready to dodge the stars that come out of it. And honestly, 90% of the game, you're running around, you're killing stuff, it just dies. And honestly, you want to kind of be close to it when it dies, because the moon that they release, killing anything releases a yellow moon. The moon that they release, if it hits the ground again, it explodes into 5 pieces of candy. So, like, the game trains you to be right on top of stuff when you kill it, because that's the reward. But then, once you're max rank, once you've demonstrated, man, I'm really good at this, they're like, oh yeah, you want to be nowhere near anything you kill, because it will hurt you and take away your max rank. It's a little annoying. I'm not going to lie to you.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious what the philosophy is behind the game. Like, is it supposed to be some loving tribute? Is it somebody that like grew up with it and just really adored the game or something? I would want to. I with the amount of weird stuff with this particular game, I would love to hear somebody from behind the game talk a little bit more about where it all came from.
Yeah, and I bet someday we'll be able to get that. Like, I don't think that's something that will never happen. But, like, right now, I should, like, buckle down and just beat the game. Like, I understand that. But, no, it didn't happen this week. And we'll see. Hopefully I can. I hope that, like, by the next time we're sitting here, I will have maybe a little bit more answers about what happens in the game. Maybe a little bit more answers about what their design philosophy was. Because I also don't want to go, like, searching for that stuff while I'm in the middle of the game.
Sure, yeah.
Because I don't want to, like, ruin things. So I'm, like, halfway through. I'll get there. I'm excited to get there. Which, all this video game talk, we should probably talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie, right? You saw it twice, man. You son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Which does indicate to me that you could have seen They Will Kill You and instead saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie again. Do you know anything about They Will Kill You?
They Will Kill You is definitely on my list of home watches, but I don't know if I can do
Go see it in a fucking theater. Go see it in a theater. I am telling you, it is worth it. It is worth the experience. I will not say anything more about it. Just marketing is the fucking, like, surprise 482 episodes into the Say Report. A thing we've literally been saying since our preview episode. Marketing is the villain of cinema currently. I say it, I sign it, I stamp it. Fuck, I triple stamp the double stamp. It is just so, that movie is sold as a horror film, and I'm telling you, it's not a horror film. That's me. Take that to the bank. That They Will Kill You is not a horror film. But
well, I mean, I'm under the impression that it is an action horror, right? Like there's horror elements, but it's mostly a action fight 'em up, beat 'em up thing, right?
Oh, it's an action. It's a kung fu movie. It's an exploitation movie. The fact that we just call everything horror now, like, makes no sense to me. Like, these horror people are connected with it, so it's a horror movie. And it's like, no, it's really not. Like, it's really not a horror movie. And maybe, I think my fear, like, when I say that, is I've just become so desensitized to horror that I can't even recognize it as a genre anymore. Like,
but I think that that's in an effort to kind of reclaim some power of horror films, you know, like for so long in like the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, there was this idea that horror was kind of this exploitative lesser genre, right? And every now and then you had something bubble to the surface that was worthy, right? You had like the Exorcist, or and then funny enough, that all changes at the end of the 90s with films like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, what were some of the other like Urban Legends, right? Like you end up with a slew of slashers made but like with the intention of like, you know, putting some money behind them and getting some people in them cast wise that like are recognizable and like all of this sort of stuff. And suddenly like horror jumps from being kind of this like off-brand thing that somebody does, you know, as like a niche film to, hey, you could actually, you know, make a career in this sort of stuff off of this sort of stuff. And so like there's a move then at that point at the end of the 90s, early 2000s to what you're saying, start kind of like looking at everything from the horror like standpoint. And I think we need to be careful when we label something for sure. But I do think that there is this idea that it's not that this movie shouldn't qualify as an action horror film. It's that we should have been talking about action horror as a possible genre for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So like there's this idea that like horror has kind of just always been relegated to like it has horror elements, but is it a horror movie? And like and then if it is a horror movie, does that somehow make it less worthy then of all the praise everybody's giving it? You know, like look at everything that happened with uh just last year with Sinners, right? And
Yeah.
about how, you know, a phenomenal film, everybody loved it. Every conversation, including ours, like I will admit that I even went there, but every conversation couched it in like, and for a horror film, like to be able to do this is like something like everything had to be couched in the fact that it like just so that we're all on the same page. This is a horror movie doing these things. It's just like, yeah, actually, I don't know why that's so. I don't know why it's so fascinating to us when these kinds of movies come around and they dare to have these horror elements in them that we think somehow cheapens the film.
I don't know. I mean, I think that really does point to me because when I saw Sinners, I'm like, I never thought horror movie. Like, I never thought horror movie. I think I am desensitized to horror. Is just like going to be the truth of that statement.
Yeah,
like,
so just everybody
yeah.
that's listening to Devon say that They Will Kill You is not a horror movie, consider the fact that he didn't consider Sinners a horror film.
Like, I saw Sinners and I'm like, ooh, Ryan Coogler. Ooh, it's set in the past. Ooh, this is all stuff I care about. And then I'm like watching it. I'm like, oh, it's vampires? Spoilers for Sinners. It's now a year old. I think we could talk about it. But I'm like, it's vampires? I wasn't expecting vampires. Like, straight up, I was not expecting the vampires. And then when people talk to me, like, it's such a it's like a horror movie, and I'm like, is it though? And like, yeah, Devin, it is. Guy who apparently doesn't understand horror or has just recontextualized it in his brain so he doesn't get spooked. That's how I avoid the spooks, Sejohn. That sounded terrible. Talking about, I mean, spooky things and scary things. Woo!
Oh man, but yeah, Super Mario Galaxy.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I guess before we talk about it,
what chose to go see
why
it twice.
two?
You were
Why
not wrong.
two? Why did you see it twice?
So I got to see it last Sunday, right after we recorded it. I had actually, I think I mentioned last episode, I already had my ticket in hand, and I went to go see it like right there on my own by myself, you know, and just. I mean, just enjoyed the hell out of it. It was just, I took that movie in, and when I left, I wanted to see it again, but I didn't want to just spend another $16 like at some point. So I started talking to people and seeing if anybody was interested, and it turns out a lot of people were. So we just had a big group go and see it again on like, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday night. But yeah. So I ended up seeing it twice because I liked it so much the first time. I brought people the next time. I was like, you need to come and see this movie.
The craziest thing about that story is that somehow you found people who are interested in a film that is currently only made $463 million at the box office worldwide. Like, I can't believe you found... No, I'm kidding. I'm just being an asshole. The really crazy, like, fact about that is that... Oh, no, I looked at that wrong. But $110 million budget for that is insane to me. Like,
Yeah.
Like, what did that... We do need to talk about the budgets on films because they lucked out with this one. But if you're spending that much on a movie, like, you gotta... You're kind of setting yourself up for failure, right? Like,
Well, I mean, that's all the talk that's going on right now with Disney and Avatar. Did you hear that
Yeah.
they are officially revisiting future plans for the Avatar series, James Cameron's Avatar, um, because even though they keep making billions of dollars, they keep getting more and more expensive to make. So, at what point are they going to get screwed, and how screwed are they going to get? Do they cut their loss now while they're ahead? Relegate whatever's left of the Avatar verse to like D plus, like, or shorts, or uh short series, miniseries. That's the word I was looking for. Like that kind of thing. Like there's nobody has come out and said Disney's not doing the next Avatar film, right? Like I think, first of all, I think Avatar 4 is already filmed, isn't it? Wasn't it one of those situations where he
No,
did them both at the
Avatar
same
2
time?
and 3 were shot together.
Oh,
And
that's what
they
it was.
kind
Okay.
of built into do exactly what we're seeing right now is happening with them. Can
Yes.
I ask you real quick to find the budget on Zootopia 2? Because that
Oh yeah,
this
I can do that.
this is where things are lying right now. This is the issue. Stems from the fact that Zootopia 2 made more money than Avatar Fire and Ash. Like that's the look at, is that Avatar Fire and Ash made $1.4 billion and Zootopia 2 made $1.8 billion. So when you consider, let me get Avatar 3 budget. So do you have Zootopia yet?
I
Like
can't
even like
find
an
the
estimate.
budget. I keep finding that it made 1.8 billion dollars, but I'm not finding. Hold on.
Okay. So yeah, because like Avatar 3's budget is estimated between 350 and 400 plus $1 million.
Okay, Zootopia has a reported budget of a clean 150 million. So
Okay.
take that for what you will. It's probably give or take a percentage there, but 150 million is what people are saying.
So let's look at that 150 million. That means one Avatar like Fire and Ash could make two Zootopias. Right? Like just even like with all the things going even from the high end of it. So what Disney is looking at is, do we want to spend over $400 million on an Avatar film when we could spend that money like smarter to make movies that could make us $1 billion? It's about the investment and the profitability from that investment. And like even though Avatar made $1 billion, it did not make as much money as Zootopia 2, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But like, I saw Zootopia 2. I did not see Avatar 3. I haven't even seen Avatar 2. So
I think that there's been. This may be incorrect, but I thought there had been something too, like adjusted for inflation. They've actually not been doing like they've actually been doing worse each time, or at least the ticket numbers. Like they're selling less tickets, but because tickets are more expensive, they're still making more money. That kind of idea. There's like a real, because everybody wants to take a shot at the king, right? And with Avatar making another $1 billion in its franchise this year, there were plenty of people that were looking for reasons to hate on it. So that could also just be that, right? Like people just looking for any reason to talk about how Avatar is actually failing secretly behind the scenes. Everybody hates Avatar. It's like, no, it's like Disney's very happy with what Avatar is doing. The series has saved their ass twice now, I think. No, they did pretty good last year, but Avatar 2 was $1 billion movie in a year when they were kind of like floundering, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I think they've been very happy with what that series has done for them so far, and I'm honestly not surprised to hear that they're rethinking the future of things. But like I don't think that there's any like bad blood. I don't think that they're like thinking like James Cameron's wasted our cash. We need to get rid of him quick. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really interesting conversation about what Disney's willing to do with an artist. We'll see.
I mean, but then also now I looked back at the worldwide box office for 2025, and Niza 2 still number one. That made $2.2 billion, right? And then some additional stuff, but that movie fucking performed. And 99% of that is from the foreign market. The 1% that our domestic market brings in is $23,000. I'll say that again.
I don't know if it played in theaters, right?
$23,000. I think it had a release in theaters. Yeah, it released on February 14th domestically. And I don't know how it... and it was in theaters for a while, through to the 5th of April, and then once it was doing crazy, it had a re-release in August. But still...
I encourage people to go check it out. It's up on HBO. Yeah. I'm pretty sure HBO had them both for a while.
I don't know if they're still up there, but yeah, they are there. And it's an enjoyable film. But yeah, so that's $2.2 billion. But then you look at Avatar as Fire and Ash as the third place movie for 2025, right? Behind Zootopia with 1.8 million. And then following that is the Lilo and Stitch live action film that is like $1 billion as well. And that has a reported budget of around $100 million. So like $250 million bringing in $2.8 billion against the $400 million investment into Avatar Fire and Ash that only brings in $1.4 billion. Like, again, these are all amounts of money that we could never possibly fathom. Like, unfathomable amounts of money. But the thing that I can understand is return on investment. And when you have the second, third, and fourth place films for 2025 worldwide box office were all Disney movies. Going domestically, domestically, yearly, 2025. Minecraft is still number one. Then Lilo and Stitch was domestically the second highest grossing film. Then Zootopia. Where is Avatar on this list? Is it like not even... Avatar was 10th place domestically with $250 million. Like, I get it. I understand it. The return on investment is straight up just not there. If you look at it from a domestic standpoint, that Lilo and Stitch was the second highest performing domestic film in 2025 on $100 million budget.
Well, yeah. And remember that when we're talking about Avatar, we're talking about the films primarily here in terms of where the interest is being created, but like Disney was going whole hog with like creating a Pandora area in one of the parks, and there being rides dedicated specifically to this, and I think that there's like an Avatar experience or something like that, like some VR thing that you can do now. So like Disney has been investing in other markets with this exact IP. So like on top of that, they're considering all of that too. Like, is that lost cash in some way if they walk away from this franchise, or has the franchise built up enough goodwill at this point that, you know, they've got the fans they're going to have for the next 10 years. And then that's when they'll revisit coming back to the movies. Right. I don't think that Avatar is going to go away. I don't think this is me. This is not me joining the chorus of people talking about how Avatar is finally dead. I think Avatar is going to stick around for a long time because there's far too many people I know that are very, very into it. That like it would be very weird to be in a world without James Cameron working on Avatar in some fashion.
Well, it'd be fucking weird if they divergented the story of Avatar. Right?
Yeah.
Again, you and I have not seen the second or third movie, so
I
maybe
think the third movie has some finality to it, but definitely leaves stuff open. Like the way that I understand it, the third movie kind of wrapped up a lot of stuff from the second movie, but at the same time, like there's still clearly problems in the world type shit, you know?
Oh yeah. So, but that's the thing, is that like when you know that there's going to be these amounts of movies, as a viewer, my expectation is that, so they know there's going to be an Avatar 4, right? Even on Box Office Mojo, which I'm using for all my data right now, like it's listed as a 2029 film and Avatar 5 as a 2031 film. Like they're listed on Box Office Mojo, right? Like with release years. that go as far as 5 years into our future. So, I'm upset that we never got the final Divergent film, right? When it's a thing that I don't think
and 10 other people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think about it all the time, but it is one of those situations where I didn't get, this is an incomplete thing that I interacted with in my lifetime, right? I guess Half-Life 3 for anybody out there who's looking for something that people care about. But yeah, so it's just they know it's existing. So I can imagine that for people hearing that Disney might rethink Avatar, that could be. But if there is a finality to the third movie, that means that the writing might have also been on the wall a little bit. James Cameron was probably in those discussions.
To that though, Cameron is never one that writes with a sequel in mind, I don't think, right? Because even going back to Terminator 2, right? Where think about the way that movie ends. They destroy the possibility of a future because they throw him into the lava, and the idea being that that feels pretty much like the end of that story. Now, we've seen it go on and to varying degrees of success past that, right? But if you watched that movie, you would think that was pretty much the end of the Terminator rise.
Honestly, and that's where it felt legitimately. It did feel like that was final, and then they came back to it for Rise of the Machines T3, because there was people wanted it or he had an idea for it. But the Avatar stuff, with it being so vocal that I have 4 more movies here.
Sure.
It always kind of felt like that. People have been comparing the whole Avatar series to Pirates of the Caribbean in terms of, because the first one did so well, they greenlit a second and third, and they're very tied into each other, the way that Dead Man's Chest and At World's End are tied into each other as almost a part 1 and a part 2. Legitimately, if they were marketed today, no, they wouldn't mention that it was Pirates of the Caribbean part 1 and part 2, because they didn't for Wicked, and honestly, that was a bigger fucking deal for Wicked than it was for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But yeah, so that's where it is. And with that, again, I'll let people have their Avatar fun. It is not something that offends me. I am not mad about Avatar in any way, shape, or form. But when I hear that Disney's we might not do the 4th and the 5th movie, and then I look at the money, I look at the numbers, I'm yeah, no, I get that. Because that Avatar could have been a live action remake and a sequel to a beloved film and make more money with less investment.
Yeah.
That's just numbers. That's 250 million adds up to 2.8 million. I guess 1.4 million on a $400 million budget. I hate to be cold and calculating, but legitimately, that's what our world is. That's all our world is how to make number go up.
Yeah.
And that's it. Profit's the only thing that matters anymore. Now let's talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I'm sorry that I derailed it, but I was curious why you saw it a second time. I'm happy to hear that it was because you got to see it with other people. I'm happy that it's performing well. I enjoyed it. When's the last time you watched the first Super Mario Brothers movie?
About 3 weeks ago. Prepare for this.
Excellent. I watched it the same day. I watched it the morning before I saw Super Mario Galaxy movie. And I got to tell you, watching the first movie really primes you for the second movie. There's a big discourse online right now about how it moves so fast. I can't believe how fast the Super Mario Galaxy movie moves. And it's yeah, but so did the first movie. Did we all just forget it? The fact that people went to the Super Mario Galaxy movie expecting The Godfather Part 2 is kind of fucking insane to me.
Well, yeah, and I think that there is a distinct difference between the first and the second in that the second does not necessarily sit in its like references as much as the first one did. The first one is a nostalgia fest, right? Left,
Hmm.
right, and center. Every shop is named something cute after a Nintendo property of some kind, right? Or an older video game property of some kind. Every character is a reference in some way. You know, you have John Martinet playing three different characters, I think, right? He plays the guy
Charles
at the
Martinet.
arcade machine, huh?
Charles Martinet, not John.
Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charles Martinet. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's just reference after reference after reference, right? The second movie, I'm not going to say that there aren't those kinds of references in it because they're definitely there, but it is not the same level of that kind of nostalgia revisiting, which I'm okay with because I got that from the first one, but now I want to live in the world that these movies are creating. Like, and so I very much was actually I noticed this and was enjoying that fact. So like I think that may be where some people are feeling like it moved along too fast because it didn't take any time to stop and reflect on itself in terms of it being like, hey, isn't it great? Like we've had Mario for 40 some odd years now, right? Like this is a fantastic thing that we are all a part of, that we all have a lexicon for. And like that's what the first movie's for. The second movie is for them to start doing some real world building, which God, do they do some fucking world building.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think that's interesting because you're right. Because this one was more like, ooh, that reference. And it wasn't, the references weren't given that like moment in the spotlight. It was just like, and I found myself watching the movie like, oh, that's this. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's, and then I even said to myself, why are we doing this? Why are we pointing out all of the references? We're not doing it out loud, right? Because we're in a theater with people. We're doing it to ourselves. Why don't we just sit and enjoy this movie, Devin? Why don't we just enjoy what's happening in front of us? And
Yeah.
that became more enjoyable than like trying
Yeah.
to trying to catch all of the references.
Well, I think the other thing is in terms of pacing, I do also want to point out that there was a lot of promise in the final scene, the after credit scene of the first movie with the discovery of the Yoshi egg, right? And then all of the marketing for this one being and Yoshi, Donald Glover playing Yoshi, like Yoshi, Yoshi, Yoshi. And then like to see that that's not actually the story of this movie, right? Like they definitely do meet Yoshi and he is definitely there and now a part of the team and it's awesome and cool. But also at the same time, that's not what the movie's about. Like, there's no focus on them finding other Yoshis or anything like that. They could do that in future movies, but like, that's not what this movie is.
Well, the weird
So
thing
I think
about
there's also maybe some of that where people feel like, oh, I thought this was a Yoshi movie, but like Yoshi's already here and we're already friends with him. So what the fuck are we doing?
well, it wasn't called the Super Mario World movie. It was called the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I'm just saying, like that. There's a focus on the galaxy stuff, so like Rosaline is probably going to be a bigger part of the movie than Yoshi. The weird thing about the Yoshi egg, like after credit sequence, was, but we saw Yoshi's in the movie. Like they have that whole scene of the Yoshis running in the background when they're on
Right,
their
but
way to the Jungle Kingdom. There's no green
but I think
Yoshi. I'll admit that.
no,
But
no, but I think the reveal is not that there's a Yoshi egg in the world. We know Yoshis exist. It's that there's a Yoshi egg in the real world, the
right.
quote unquote real
Yes.
world in the world of the film. Like I don't think it's about, but like they do that whole montage and really quick of him running around the real world before he jumps back into the pipe and then ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Like there is almost, it almost feels like there was the movie they wanted to make, and then as they were making it, they got further and further away from it and just realized, no, we actually want to spin it into this. So it has these like leftover elements of like a movie that focused around like Yoshi that we're just never gonna see now. Like there is definitely that feeling of it. And again, this is because I have the benefit of seeing this movie twice, so I had the time to know what was coming and to actually like sit there and like think about these things as I was watching it the second time. Because like the first time through, these were not the feelings that I had. Like I was just in awe the first time. Like I'm going to admit my bias is right here. Like I enjoy the first one so much that I knew I was going to enjoy this one no matter what. But then on top of that, I was still overwhelmed by how much I was enjoying it.
Bro, oh man, like there's some stuff that happens in this movie that we're not even there yet. But that whole Shaun the Sheep, like quiet Yoshi movie set to Biggie's Hypnotize was awesome. And legitimately, I could have watched a 90-minute Yoshi doesn't talk Shaun the Sheep style movie of Yoshi in the real world. I totally could have watched that. And like that sequence really did work for me. Because you're right, it is supposed to be the fact that he's in the real world. Not the fact that, oh my God, there's a Yoshi egg. Because I'm like, well, we already saw Yoshis. So then when the second movie is what it is, right? Like I applaud the first movie because Peach is not the damsel in distress. Luigi is. So then for the second movie to just literally make it a princess who's been kidnapped, it's like, man, you guys like avoided it the first time. So I guess on some level you get the clear to do it in the second movie. But at the same time, like, it's Rosa fucking Lena. She's the badass. She's the one who should not be captured. And
no, but I think that they do a really good job of honoring that stuff. You know, like, yes, she does get captured, but she gets saved by Princess Peach. She's not saved by Mario and
that's
Luigi.
true. That
right?
is true.
Like so there's that element to it. There's also this idea that like she's shown to be a badass. It's just that like she's caught off guard. You know, there's you're not wrong that there are elements to this that feel a little bit like kind of a bummer compared to what the story was the first time around. But also, like, I think that making this really a movie about Peach and the origins of Peach and being able to really kind of explore the origins of Rosalina and what this means. I mean, this was clearly the point of this movie, because the after credit scene of this film is the introduction. Spoilers, or did we already say that?
I don't know if we said spoilers. We said spoilers earlier on in the episode about stuff, so like, I mean, you should probably just assume spoilers with this show, but spoilers before we talk about the end credits. Yeah,
it introduces Daisy, which of course, you know, I was actually the whole time being like, so what does this mean with Daisy? Because the revelation that Peach and Rosalina are actually sisters is a whole new thing. People have debated for years how Rosalina is somehow related to Peach. It was always assumed that she was. I don't know if there's like something in one of the Galaxy games that she says or anything, but there was always this assumption that she's related to Peach. But how was she related? And you know, the prevailing theory for a while was that she was the daughter of Peach and Luigi.
Oh yeah, and that honestly, like legitimately, that is all drawn from stuff in the game. Because Rosalina, like this whole idea of like Rosalina being Peach's mother, which was the other big prevailing theory that I hear, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because Rosalina has a picture book about Princess Peach. So it'd be real weird if this woman gave birth to a kid, sent her away, like, I'm not going to raise you, but then wrote a book about what happened to her. Like, the only idea where the mother theory, like, tracks for me is if Rosalina is like Emma Thompson in Stranger Than Fiction, and she birthed Peach because she wrote the fairy tales, and like that's what Rosalina actually is some creator god who made all of this happen.
The introduction of Rosalina to the Mario universe kind of solidified things. It's not like it introduced magic. I mean, you've had Magic Koopa since the first one and all that sort of stuff. So like magic has always been there, but it solidified kind of this idea that there is a level of magic, not just in the world of Mario, but in the universe of Mario, right? And it's kind of what leads you then to the inevitable Odyssey, right? Where you're now exploring all these various little islands and worlds and stuff. Like there's this way that it just made it so big, like the idea of magic, that anything goes, you know what I mean? Like it becomes like an anything goes card, like, but this idea of putting some anchors down with things like all of the princesses actually are all born of star stuff, which is not the first time we hear about a character in the Mario universe that way. The first thing I was thinking was, oh my god, do we get to meet Gino? Like, how awesome would that fucking be?
I mean,
If
it'd
we
be
get, like, you
impossible,
know,
but it would
I
be
will not
awesome.
hold my breath for an RPG film, although fuck me, I would love it. But no, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit back and wait for that. But seeing him with this idea that we're introducing the idea that the stars can take shape essentially in human forms, human being. It's hard to talk about whether or not she's human or not, because she's not, right?
She's
She's star
humanoid.
stuff, but she's also
Humanoid is the term that you would use.
humanoid. Thank
Yeah.
you. That is, yeah. So like there's something really comforting about the ways in which it puts up certain guardrails, but then also doesn't really address other ones.
Yeah. And that, the whole thing about Rosalina and Peach being sisters, from the end of the movie, the second the movie ended, like the controversy of that was something that I was immensely aware of. Because I wore to the movie the very special episode of the Stay Report for the Super Mario Brothers film, just like I wore it to the first movie. I love that image. It's so much fun. And unless you give it like a second glance, it just looks like I'm wearing a t-shirt for the first Super Mario Brothers movie. And so like this little kid's like, hey, that's the first movie. Like that was cool. But like this group of like 4 or 5 adults were like, hey, nice shirt. And I'm like, hey, that's good. And then they were sitting down like 2 rows in front of us. And one of them after the movie stood up and he's like, well, them being sisters isn't canon. Right? They just made that up for the fucking movie. And I'm like, wow, there are still kids in here. Maybe lower your voice, you fucking insane person. I have to tell you,
and
I love
the point
Super
was
Mario
that there
Brothers.
wasn't a canon answer.
Yeah, right.
No, there was no. That's such a stupid way to look at it, because it's not like there was a canon answer that they like changed. It didn't exist before this.
Yeah, that was like such a weird moment of lionization. And again, I love Super Mario Brothers. I've been playing Mario games since I was 2 years old. Right? It is a fact of my life. I love it. I absolutely love it. I do not care about the story of Super Mario Brothers, as demonstrated by the fact that I saw that 1993 movie and was like, yeah, this kind of works for me. I'm okay with them trying to give this game a story. Like, so to be that angry, and that anger is something that I have seen echoed on the internet. Like, I can't believe they made them sisters. And it's like, yeah, because it was better that, like, somewhere down the line, Mario gets killed, Luigi and Peach find solace in each other's arms, and birth Rosalina, who then somehow goes through like a time sphincter to be an adult at the same time that they are. Yeah, that's a beautiful fucking story there. Them being sisters made of stardust, that one I could sleep at night with a lot easier than like playing Galaxy, and I'm like, oh, okay, so Rosalina's Peach's daughter. Like that seems to be the heavy implication here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's this idea that like that kind of attitude is so wild to me, because it also completely negates the original kind of concepts and joy of Mario. Like, do you remember like the all the NES games would open up with like curtains rising and there being a stage and them taking a bow together and stuff like that, right? Or
well, that's
like,
really only the third
there's
game that
this
does that. But
idea
yes, the third game is like that. Like
the second
one has
Super Mario
curtains. 2. They do bow at the end. You're right, but like that.
And then there are,
I don't know. The
but
second
there are,
one's so
but there's
weird.
always been this idea. Like I think Nintendo has straight up talked about this, and Miyamoto. But like they've talked very specifically about the idea that they always wanted to look at the idea, the world of Mario as some type of play of some kind. Like it is, you're seeing characters on the screen, and it's why they've been so comfortable with Mario being in so many various different situations. Look at the way that they interact with Bowser, right? And Bowser in some games is terrifying. Bowser in other games is goofy and fun. Like in some games he's an antagonist, in some games he's a protagonist. Like so, but that idea that it's okay, you can do whatever you want with him because he's just an actor in a play, right? He's just a character on stage, and we could tell any story we want, mixing these characters in left, right, and center, and doing whatever we want with them. Like there's always been that kind of atmosphere with Mario,
I
right?
agree.
So for this to be the world of the movie verse, right? Like I think that everything that happens works together within the two films. I wasn't really worried about it working with like what we know about other thing, you know what I mean? Because the first one didn't follow any particular game. Like as much as it called itself Super Mario Brothers, like it it looked at stuff all the way up to like Luigi's Mansion and shit. There was even there were Odyssey references in it. I forgot they go through the desert at one point. So like I don't know. I just wasn't expecting this one to. I can't believe you would be expecting like it to follow a certain lore.
I know it's
other than its own.
Well, you also need to consider the fact that like we do have the benefit of 33 years of inoculation as to what a Super Mario Brothers movie is doing with its storytelling. Right? Like, we saw the 93 movie. You saw it when it was new, right? Like, did you see it in theaters? Or, like, at least...
No, I didn't see it in theaters, but I did get the VHS when it came out. I got to go rent it from RX.
Yeah. So, like, that's the thing. Like, my parents... I don't know if they wanted to see it, but I know that I wanted to see it. Like, my mother talks about how I would not shut up about Nintendo and Mario. Like, the reason I got an NES for, like, Christmas of 1988 when I was 2 years old was apparently because as a 2-year-old, I would not shut up about the, like, Mario and Nintendo. Like, it was a thing that, like, and honestly... Like, watching my dad, like, so excited to play it and then having his heart dashed when the princess was in another castle, that might have been, like, him just playing a trick on my mother. Like, Devon talks about it all the time when you're not around. We should get him this. I don't know.
If your parent, if your mom one day were to tell us that your first words were Mario or Nintendo, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's one of those things that, like, we're like, yeah, that tracks for Devon. We get that. So I definitely Metroidvania. What is that? What does that even mean? That'd be hilarious if my first words were Metroidvania. Oh, I coined the term. I like this as lore. Fake lore. This is not data, this is lore. That's for the TNG nerds out there.
Shit, man.
But yeah, so like we are ready to like separate what we know about Mario from what we see on the screen about Mario. I mean, that same thing happens with like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show or the Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon or even the Super Mario World cartoon. Because those 3 cartoons that we had from Deke growing up, there is no continuity between them. Right? By the time you get to Super Mario World, like, it's a completely different Mario and Luigi than what you watched in the other stuff. And think about how the Koopalings in the Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon, they're not named Wendy and Ludwig and Larry. They're like Cookie and Cutie Pie and Bully. Like, they have different names. Like, the people who have been Mario, like, with Mario from the beginning, and I'm not trying to be a hipster about it, I'm not trying to say anything, but I am just saying that there was a time where Mario's, like, lore and, like, the facts of who he was were the Wild West. All Nintendo wanted to do was make sure Mario was all we could think about. And it worked because now Mario is more recognizable than Jesus in this world.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, but that's what I mean when like I think it's okay to be a little hipstery when your intentions are as good as they are. Like as people that have been following this since we were a kid, our ability to be open to new things is better for that, right? Whereas like these people treat it as if that it closes them off to any, because I mean like this is so much fun, because now this means like now we get to wonder, is Daisy one of the sisters? She must be, because she's a princess. Are there more princesses? What are the, you know, what are our other options there? And then like the introduction of the baby gun, right? And that, I mean, Fox McCloud, Glenn Howerton, I could not believe that was him.
That was Glenn Powell. If that were Glenn Howerton, that'd be fucking incredible.
Sorry, no, Running Man, right?
Yeah, Running Man. Or Top Gun Maverick. Like, basically, he was playing his role from Top Gun Maverick again, being a fighter pilot.
Nice. Twisters. So let's just keep throwing them out there. Glenn Powell as Fox McCloud was just a blast.
So
and
good.
And you know what I really loved? All of this stuff that we were talking about with Yoshi, where he just shows up and he's just kind of accepted as part of the team. And like, yeah, there's a couple of comments here or there from Toad, but it's not like he's like actively trying to like replace anybody or push anybody out. There isn't any weird story with that with Yoshi. It's the same exact thing with Fox. The fact that him and Mario like fall in love with each other immediately is adorable as hell.
The only thing that bothers me about
really
that,
appreciated it.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with it. I'm fine with them like being like, yeah, this guy seems cool. This guy seems awesome. Like main character, recognize main character, Predator handshake. But I really wish that when Mario saw the R-Wing, he was like, is that a freaking R-Wing? Because he has an R-Wing in his room in Brooklyn. Like, what a, like that's the type of stuff where, like, you talk about, like, the references just exist and they don't have time to breathe. For most of them, I'm fine with it. Like, a lot of people have been complaining about the Pikmin reference of, like, what? They just show up.
I was sitting there.
I was cheering.
I was begging for them to be Pikmin.
Yeah.
When they were showing the ship, I was like, oh, the joke has to be that it's, I thought it was going to be, Olimar was going to get out or something, but I was thinking Pikmin. And so like when the little Pikmin come out, I was just like, this is fucking fantastic. It was so cathartic. It was such an obvious joke that they needed to make it, and they made it so genuinely sweet that I loved that moment.
Right. It worked for me too, but a lot of people are like, oh, and here are the Pikmin. And it's like, yep, but like that worked in that moment. What more did we need the Pikmin to do? And if we're going to be beholden to what is established in the canon of Mario, Pikmin have existed in other Mario games. They exist in the same world outside of like Smash Brothers. So
wow, that's so disappointing, because the whole concept of that scene where they meet Fox and the Pikmin are there and all that is that they're at basically this like Grand Central Station of all realities. And so like this idea that like this is it, folks. This is going to be the birth of what we see of other Nintendo films. This is going to be the thing that they use to tie Kirby into this universe. This is going to be the thing that they use to create a Mario Kart thing where they go to various worlds and various people. Like this element, this whole scene that they're building where these other characters are showing up is telling you like this is Nintendo planting the seed for them to do anything they want now and still tie it back to this in a way that is really like satisfying and I mean marketing friendly and all that sort of shit. Like I don't know, if they were to make a Pikmin movie now, like I bet I could convince my mom to see it because she really liked seeing them in this, like that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, it's so strange. But then you also got to look at the Star Fox of it all, that like he has a whole backstory of how he was in a different universe, got sucked through a black hole, loved the fucking slam on Slippy. Fuck you, Slippy. That was so good. I guess that's what I get for having a frog as an engineer. I dug that hard. So they do it, but you're also right. If Gateway Galaxy is meant to be the Grand Central Station of all of these galaxies, then Fox, he just exists in our universe, and the black hole brought him to what is this civilized section of space, right? He could still be out in the Lilat system, which is a war-torn, like, environ because of the actions of Andros. Like, right. It all works, right? It does. They're talking fucking penguins. It all works. I gotta say, though, I do not want Daisy to be made of Stardust. I want Daisy to be a fake princess, and she is hanging with Wario and Waluigi. Like just
I do think
straight
Wario and
up.
Waluigi is probably going to be something that we see in the next one, because with the end of Bowser, quote unquote, I don't think that they're going to do away with him forever because they struck gold with him and Jack Black playing him. Um, so I think that we'll see Bowser again. This is not me saying anything about
Yeah.
that, but I do think we're going to need some new marketable antagonists. And I mean, who else do you go to but Wario and Luigi, especially if you've hinted at the existence of Daisy, right?
Like I
So
would,
that, yeah,
and this, I don't know if you've heard this new theory that Daisy is actually evil Peach
yes, I
because
have. Yes, yeah, that's been around for a little bit now. Yeah,
yeah. I dig it. I dig it because M upside down W, L upside down Waluigi symbol, P upside down D. It kind of works for me. It does kind of work for me. I'll be honest about it. That being said, if Daisy in a third Super Mario movie is some kind of grifter who is pretending to be Princess Peach and getting stuff, but now, oh wait, you can't be that princess. She goes around with like a tall guy and like a little fat guy. And then she has to find Wario and Waluigi to continue her grift. Now, what I am talking about right now, class, what I'm discussing right now, class, is why people did not like the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And let's go back to one of the tenets of the Say Report, and that is expectation should be tempered. When the third movie comes out and what I just described is not in the script, I cannot be upset about that. Because the level of wish fulfillment that would represent is insane. They are not interested in making a movie where Princess Daisy is a grifter and then hires her own version of Mario and Luigi to continue her grift. They're not going to make that movie. They're just not going to do it. But
can I throw my hat in the ring?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm pretty sure that the story will be more something along the lines of Daisy's kingdom is in trouble and she needs somebody to help, and Wario and Luigi are basically becomes a mistaken identity story.
Yes, I
Wario
like that.
And Luigi are either the antagonists or they come in pretending to be Mario and Luigi, but they do something that upsets Daisy and the Flower Kingdom, which then puts Mario and Luigi on like a wanted list essentially. And so the whole movie is going to be about Mario and Luigi trying to prove their innocence to Daisy and the Flower Kingdom. I bet we get a lot of really good Mario Wonder references in that one. That's my prediction. Is it's going to be a Mario Wonder based mistaken identity story where Princess Daisy of the Flower Kingdom is trying to arrest Mario and Luigi, thinking that they're the bad guys, but it's actually Waluigi and Wario.
That does sound good. I mean, mine is cerebral and not what you get in a kid's movie, but I would dig it. I would dig that. But your thing works. The only thing is that Daisy is the desert princess, so I would love it if the Flower Kingdom approached.
I thought she was the princess of the Flower Kingdom. Is she not?
She's the princess of Sahasraland, which is a desert kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it would be what I could get behind if we want to go Wonder with it. And honestly, Wonder does seem like the next logical step if Prince Florian of the Flower Kingdom contacted Daisy for her help.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now
I'm remembering Prince Florian and being a little dude riding on your head the whole time.
Exactly. He's the little caterpillar guy. Then you can also tie in the Hoppers references with that whole thing, so that because you want to give kids what they kind of know already in some ways. But yeah,
dude, I just want them to get to the Netflix series of Mario Rabbids. That's all I need, and then my life will be complete.
Good. I'm glad. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, I'd watch it, but still. But yeah, so I think that is far more likely if Wario and Waluigi have started to pretend to be these two guys who are suddenly getting a thing. and they did something to wrong a kingdom, and now Daisy, and that would also track, like, that's why she's in Gateway Galaxy, because these two guys were seen there if she's investigating that does work for me. But I don't want her to be related to Rosalina and Princess Peach. I think that I like that. I already think that almost did not get the narrative weight that, like, it really could have earned in this film.
What are you talking about? The whole climax is the two of them holding hands.
It's Escape from Witch Mountain. It's Escape from Witch Mountain. Let's no.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, it is it is them finding their superpower within each other.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean by it wasn't given the weight.
I don't know. I guess, like, maybe a conversation would have been good. I mean, there's more movies. There's gonna be a third movie. I don't know. Like, it's like, I mean, I'm happy with it, but
what was the length on this one? It was an hour 40, right?
I think it's an hour 35.
Yeah,
like, it was. Super Mario Galaxy movie. How long are you, baby? IMDb has a 6.5 on IMDb. It's an hour and 38 minutes. Hey, we split the difference between us. That's fun. And let's see, the first Super Mario Brothers movie, just for that, is an hour and 32 minutes. Like, yeah, like
so it's actually longer than the first one.
It's longer. So everybody like, oh, it cut so fast and this, and I'm like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's and I really liked. I've been saving this part. I loved seeing Wart and Mouser and Burdetta. Mm-hmm. I really love seeing Burdetta, and I want more of them. I straight up want more of those characters. Like, and honestly, I could almost see, because the biggest, first of all, they made Bowser a fantastic father. And I love that, because that's, like, established, because he's really the only person in the Nintendo that has a canonical child, which is crazy if you think about that, right? But it's the truth.
I mean, besides, like, the Toad kids that you will meet in like the Mushroom Kingdom and various things, right? Like, where Paper Mario and Mario RPG and stuff, there are toadling offsprings, but in terms of, like, main cast, like identifiable characters goes, there's not even, like, a mini version of, like, Magic Cooper or anything, right? Or anything like that.
No, Magic Cooper, like Kamek is the head of the Magic Koopa, and then every other Magic Koopa is just a Koopa who was given a robe and a wand. Like, that's like, I decided to be a wizard. Broom. Yes, and a broom. I mean, you know what though? There's also, but she's only in the paper games, which based on everything that we're discussing, is certainly a separate universe. Because there's Cammy Koopa. Nope.
Well, we know it's a separate universe because in the games there is one where Paper Mario meets
Mario and Luigi,
a different
universe.
Mario and Luigi, right? Yeah, they do the Mario and Luigi. So we know that it is canonically within the Nintendo verse that Paper Mario is a different universe.
Yeah, it is Cammy Koopa. Camella, the female Magic Koopa, who is Bowser's, like, Magic Koopa in the Paper Mario games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I love that
she's
character.
Like an old witch.
Yeah, she's an old witch. She's wonderful. She's a wonderful character. So, like, we don't know Kamek's relationship to her. By all accounts, they're Distaff counterparts in separate universes based on everything that we've seen with them. But, like, that's it. But if there's a character, and they've only recently has Donkey Kong been retconned to be Cranky Kong's son, right? Because there was a Donkey Kong Jr., right? So there was Donkey Kong, there's Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong with a tie is Donkey Kong the Third, right? They've talked about that, and now suddenly they're trying to retcon it so that Donkey Kong is Cranky's child, and Cranky is the original Donkey Kong. I got that all out there. But because of Bowser being the only one with a canonical child, when it comes time for, like, parental control videos, it's always Bowser setting, like, limits for Bowser Jr. So I did like that this movie gave a nice father-son relationship there. When he's telling the story about Planet Bowser with the puppets and everything, first of all, I'm a sucker for mixed media and my animated films. I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love that. So suddenly, immediately on board for that. But then the sad thing is, you talk about like them doing a Mario RPG movie. I mean, the possibilities are just so astronomical, considering how much of that is owned by Squaresoft and not by Nintendo, and they don't want to share that money, right? That's why they've made 6 Mario and Luigi games that like try to be like Super Mario RPG, but they just miss the mark that little bit. See, Jim. Just that
mostly
bit.
by not being on console, but
yeah, there's that. That's part of it. But sorry, but Bowser being their buddy, like in the beginning of this movie, was awesome, and it totally tracked for me. And the fact that like by the end he's like their arch enemy again, that like his relationship with his son was so toxic to the fact that like he was willing to try to kill the Mario brothers again. That kind of sucked a little bit. Like, I thought it was going to be a bigger enemy. And if that bigger enemy had turned out to be Wart and the Subcon, like, generals, Claw Grip was there, too. The only thing that felt a little out of place in the whole, like, Super Mario Brothers 2 boss gauntlet section. First of all, I don't know. I know why you wouldn't have Fry Guy there, because like nobody wants to hang out with a fireball inside of a casino. But Tri-Clyde should have been there. I'm a big fan of Tri-Clyde. But why was Ukiki Monkey there? Like, Ukiki is not part of that.
Isn't Ukiki from Yoshi's Island?
He is from Yoshi's Island. Nice.
Yeah.
So it just like I mean, it was an interesting way to bring all the sequel games, like the big Departure sequel game characters together into one thing. But
I will say this, it could be that Ukiki was in the script from the get-go, and my theory about how originally this was supposed to be a much more Yoshi-based film, he would have made a lot more sense as a pull.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I like that we still got Yoshi taking care of them as babies. I like that the gun that made them babies was the de-evolution gun from the Super Mario Brothers 1993 movie. I dug that a lot. I mean, I know that it's just a Super Scope 6, but the fact that it reduced them down to baby size again was awesome. Like, that really worked for me. And my favorite part when they became babies was saying, oh, great, now they got to learn how to play fucking tennis. Thanks, Mario Tennis Fever. But, you know, overall, I enjoyed it. And, I mean, I think it's a good Mario movie. I think it's a good movie. It's just not The Godfather. And movies don't have to be The Godfather. Honestly, I think in the modern world, The Godfather would not even be The Godfather. That's something.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Mario Galaxy is saccharine, and it is goofy and always goes for the joke rather than continuity or care of canon. Like, if it can make a joke, it definitely makes it. But there's just something so wholesome about it still that I think it does a really good job of capturing that same idea of, you know, you think of wholesome video games, and Mario is one of the first games people will mention. Like, it's a good, big, successful series that doesn't rely on a gritty, dark storyline, or, you know, there's rarely weapons, or if there are weapons, they're always very silly. Like, there's this kindness to the Mario movies that, like, I really enjoy that they've been able to capture from the games.
Yeah, no, it is good. I enjoyed it. I think also what sort of colored it, the thing that, like, all these people who are mad at the movie, and there is a weird contingency of people who are, like, upset with the Mario Galaxy movie, like, that I'm not sure why. Like, it was too fast. It didn't do enough. It wasn't a good enough story. That would usually just sound like, I don't know, sour grapes, or it would fall on deaf ears. But Dale fell asleep during the movie. And that is such like a weird sort of like, so I mean, I kind of get where people could be coming from, because she was excited to see it and she fell asleep, and like, she's like, I kind of feel bad that I fell asleep, but also like the movie didn't keep me awake. So like, what does that make me feel? And I'm like, was it soothing? Like, trying to get to the heart of that has been interesting. But it also weirdly adds this level of validity to the fact that there could be this huge contingency of people who love Mario who do not enjoy this film.
Yeah.
That,
no,
like,
of course.
Yeah. I don't know. And, like, again, and then also seeing somebody, he was angry in the theater about the fact that the movie was like, Peach and Rosalina are sisters. End of story. That's not in the games. I just want everyone to know. Like, thank God he didn't do it during the movie. Could you fucking imagine? But, like, for that to be the first thing that he wanted to say after the film, like, does that really upset you that much? Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what he was expecting. I don't know.
yeah, like, I don't know. Like, they made a movie. They made an enjoyable movie. They made a profitable movie, right? Like, it is probably going to make $1 billion. It's probably going to be the first $1 billion movie of this year. Which, while we're talking about that, I saw somebody say that they think that Avengers Doomsday could be the first $3 billion movie. How do you feel about that, Sejohn, before we move on to my final topic for this week?
We never want to root for a movie to do poorly. This is not me saying I hope it fails in any way.
Right.
But I think that this is going to be a spectacular failure to watch.
Really? Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from with that statement.
I don't have anybody around me that wants to go and see this one with me. They like, the advertising around is making people around here pissed. Like, all of this, like, reintroduction of characters or people that we thought were gone, dead, or at least, like, not, like they don't. It feels like all of the criticisms that people have ever had against Avengers films, they heard and then doubled down on instead. And that's not me saying, like, boo on them for doing it, because for people like me, that's going to be an enjoyable experience. I know that I'm going to watch this movie and in some capacity enjoy it. But I am not willing to put money on this movie making what it needs to make in order to do what it needs to do. Yeah. So that's the first thought I have. Secondly, $3 billion feels like, what's the difference at this point? We've passed $1 billion. $3 billion is right there too, I guess.
It's the fact that there are movies that made $2 billion, and I think Endgame is one of them. Let me just confirm that. Like, really? Oh, I guess I do need to type Endgame and not FNW = 00. Jesus. Yeah, it made $2.7 billion Endgame. Right. So, like, I get it. Like, it is, the next plateau is the $3 billion movie. But
right.
If Avengers Endgame came out, like, not, was it 7 years after the fact that Endgame happened? Like, there's a lot of years of superhero fatigue that, like, that's just ignoring. And you know what? I didn't realize that the advertising was pissing me off. Like, thankfully, everything I saw was just at home on, like, YouTube videos. I didn't see a single trailer for anything Avengers Endgame yet, like, before a movie. And I'm sure I will. But the excitement and elation that I felt when I saw the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer play before Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, like, I knew they were talking about it. I didn't realize it was releasing this year. And then watching it, and it's just like, this looks so fucking good. Like, this is not the way any of the Doomsday stuff has made me feel. Like, and it's named after, historically, one of the worst Spider-Man stories ever. Right? Like, you name a Spider-Man Brand New Day, I'm already thinking about hyper-selfish Peter Parker.
That's the Mephisto story, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the big one?
It's Brand New Day is the one that follows One Day More. So One Day More is the one where Peter Parker, after the death of Aunt May, spoilers for a almost 20-year-old comic story at this point. Like, that's crazy. Like, Aunt May dies and Peter Parker makes a deal with the devil to bring her back to life. But the real, like, fuck you of it all is that Aunt May, he gets to talk to Aunt May and she's like, I'm happy being dead, Peter. I get to be with your uncle again. Like, let me be at peace. It's time for you to move on. And then Peter Parker's like, no, I need you in my life. I'm bringing you back to life. I don't care what you want, Aunt May. Like, real toddler Parker shit right there. Like, real.
Yeah, but it's also at the cost of his marriage to MJ, right?
Yeah, and that's why in Brand New Day, we see that, you know, oh, you'll get her back, but, you know, it's the devil, right? So there's always, like, that underlying thing. It also undoes his marriage to MJ and everything else. Basically, it was how Marvel was like, we need to reboot Spider-Man because nobody likes happy Spider-Man. Right? Happy Spider-Man is not fun to write for. We want him dating people and having, like, threesomes and like, love triangles and stuff. Can't do that if he's got his happily ever after with Mary Jane. So they do that. So the fact that it's named after Brand New Day, which, like, was not good because it was just the aftermath of the most selfish that we've ever seen Peter Parker be. And also, like, it blanked his memory of it. Like, that was the other part of it. Like, you'll get your aunt back and the other stuff that will come along with that. But also, you won't remember that you made this deal. Like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks, assholes.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, the fact that, you know, No Way Home ended with the whole that make people forget Peter Parker of it all was like, holy fuck, like, that was really cool. And then, like, I'm so excited to see it. I'm so excited to see a new Spider-Man movie. I'm excited for a fourth movie with the same person playing Spider-Man. These are things I'm excited about. And I don't have any of that excitement for Avengers Doomsday. Like, at all. Right now, am still excited about Deadpool Wolverine. Because, God, that movie was so good. And I got a very terrible Marvel Legends figure of Deadpool from the beginning of the movie that has sent me down a path, Sejohn, that maybe we'll be discussing next episode of the Stay Report. If not next episode, then in 2 weeks. So everybody has that to look forward to.
Yay.
But yeah, so I'm excited for that whole thing. Also, since I brought up Nobody Likes Happy Spider-Man, did the open letter to Taylor Swift come across your eyeballs this week?
Oh, God, no.
Signed the fans, basically saying, we don't like you happy. Your music is not the same when you're happy.
What the fuck was that? Is it like a fucking Onion article or some shit? What?
No, let me see if I can find it, because I'll read it here. Open letter Taylor Swift from her fans. So an open letter to Taylor. Oh, this is from 3 years ago. Nope. That's an old one. This is one that happened this week. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's apparently they do this stuff all the time. They write just open letters to Taylor Swift. I didn't know that this was a thing. But these all look very, very, real. Oh, here it is. You can like Taylor Swift without drafting a formal letter to her. No on behalf of the fans. No Google Doc titled concerns. Yeah, like, it's just crazy. Like, a lot of stuff. Like, I can't find the letter anymore. I had it. But it's like a lot of, like, now that you're, like, engaged and happy, your music has suffered. And, like, the weird thing is that, like, it seemed like the marriage might be happening in Rhode Island. And then big talk of, like, the marriage is not happening in Rhode Island. And there's that fear from me that, like, maybe the marriage isn't happening at all now, because of her, like, fear of losing her fans. I want to believe that she's stronger than that, but, like, it's, I don't know. Like sometimes when I watch the behind the scenes stuff in her video, you see how just addicted she is to like having that adoration from people, and like I feel like a little sad. Like, so I wouldn't be surprised if like something like that, like your last album wasn't good because you were happy Taylor. We need sad, angry Taylor again. Like, I don't know. Like if she starts hiding her relationship or something, just crazy stuff. I don't know. But it's not the same. A happy, like, she gets to live her life. She gets to find happiness. She's not a fictional character like Spider-Man. She's a living being.
Just leave Tay-Tay alone.
Don't say that. I didn't say leave Taylor Swift alone. I mean, I did just say leave Taylor Swift alone, but I didn't say it like that. Sejohn said it. Let's put that on the record. I have one more thing that I would like to discuss with you, Sejohn. I'd like to discuss it with you. And then we can put this one to bed. And that's the fact that, remember Best Medicine, the Josh Charles American remake of Doc Martin?
Yes.
It got renewed for a second season. And I didn't talk about it when it happened. So it did get renewed for a second season. Can I ruin something about the show for you?
Sure, yeah.
Hold on. I just want to make sure that I have the proper information here for when I deliver what I'm about to deliver to you. Excuse me. Devon Decker. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Hit it. Thank you. Who do you think plays Dr. Martin Best's father in Best Medicine?
Is it the guy that played Doc Martin?
It's Martin Clunes. Yup. He plays his dad. That's the thing that happens. His mom is played by BJ Potweet from Designing Women, the woman who played the final one, which is nice because his aunt is played by Annie Potts. So as a big fan of, Designing Women, I was pretty happy that we had a little reunion between the characters. I want to get BJ Potweet's really. Judith Ivey plays it. But weirdly, Aunt Sarah is his father's sister. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, so like that's the stuff. They went there. And honestly, as soon as I divorced Best Medicine from the real world, just like took a paper cutter and just cut it off and realized that it was existing in a fictional reality, I came to enjoy it a lot more. But it's over. The first season has ended. And
somehow I thought I had heard that it was getting canceled. So
no, it got renewed. It did get renewed. I don't know. Let me just confirm that renewal now, because I'm fairly certain it got renewed. But you know what? They might cancel the things, the Avatar movies, and those got renewed. So, Best Medicine Season 2. It was renewed by they were renewed for the 27th season. So yeah. Cool. It was renewed in March. That's the thing. Like I've been sitting on the information that it was renewed because I'm like, oh, I want to see it. And then like Martin Clunes showed up and played his father, which was kind of interesting. And then, like there's only a few episodes left after that. So let's finish this season. I will say overall, very enjoyable. Some real good acting from some actors that I really enjoy. The finale kind of felt like we stretched this into 2 episodes when it could have just been 1 episode. And honestly, I'm not sure why that would have happened, but real interesting stuff. So I do recommend Best Medicine, but also I have to say I will not be watching any Doc Martin, which I am interested in watching it, until Best Medicine ends. So it will be another year before I watch that.
It's like 35 seasons of that show, isn't there, or something?
Yeah, but there's only
like
79 episodes because it's British television. So it's 39, like 2 episode season.
Yeah, right.
But it was really like as soon as like he showed up, like, oh, that's Doc Martin, and everybody like, well, I'm watching with like, what? And I'm like, that's the guy who plays Doc Martin, which this show is based. Never mind, we'll deal with this afterwards. Let's smile about Judith Ivey and Annie Potts being on the TV together again.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So, Best Medicine. I do recommend it, right? If you're looking for something for the summer, it's probably going to be on Hulu for a while. Check it out. But it's been renewed, and it was a pretty... I tell you, even though I feel like it was one episode split into 2 episodes, I was a mess. I was an absolute mess during it. Like, real ugly crying. To the fact that my mother was like, oh, I fell asleep during that episode. Do you want to watch it together? And I'm like, no, I don't ever want to watch that again. And she thought that meant that I didn't enjoy it. No, I just don't. I can't afford to be as dehydrated as I was after the finale episode of the first season of Best Medicine. just a lot of tears, Sejohn. Just a lot of tears. I think I mean I don't know anything else. Did you fuck around with the Malcolm in the Middle revival that dropped on Hulu?
Not yet.
A couple of days ago.
No, it only just dropped a day or two ago, right?
Yeah, it dropped on the 10th.
I've seen it. It's been recommended to me. It's on my list, but I have not dove into it just yet. I don't have like a deep dying love for Malcolm in the Middle, so this is but I also very much enjoyed it when I was growing up. You know, it came on this between Simpsons and Futurama when I was growing up, or something like that.
Right? Yeah.
There was or between Simpsons and X-Files, or in that Sunday night block, whatever that was. So I watched a lot of it growing up. So I am interested in the revival, but I'm not jumping on it right now because I'm not feeling the pull to, but it is, like I said, it was recommended to me right at the top, so I did add it to my list and everything. So the second I get interested, I will jump in, but I don't know if that's going to be anytime soon.
And that's fine. It was something that was on. Like, some episodes I think are great. I do think that the bowling episode that's like sliding doors was just like a really cool concept episode of television. But overall,
I really like the episode where Hal has to do the power walking, or he gets really into the power walking with the suits and stuff.
Yeah. There's stuff that I remember from it, but I would never say I was a fan. It was just something that was kind of on. I did power through all 4 episodes in a single session of the revival.
Okay.
So I am excited to have a discussion about them once you are caught up. And There's the thing. If you're a fan of them, I think that you should definitely watch it. I think that there's some really good acting on display. I think there's some funny meta comedy in it. I would not say I recently said that I felt like the Scrubs revival was unnecessary. That was the word that I ascribed to it. But then I saw an actual entertainment. I don't know if it was Variety or Deadline or one of these say that the Malcolm in the Middle one feels unnecessary. And I'm like, well, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And even I have decided that Scrubs unnecessary was an unfair adjective to assign to that. So it's certainly not unnecessary. But your mileage for enjoyment with it is certainly going to vary with how into the show you were. And honestly, I do feel as somebody who knew just enough to be dangerous about the world of Malcolm in the Middle, I may have been a better target audience for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset when it was revealed at the end of it that Hal and Lois are sisters. I didn't stand up in the theater and say that was only in the revival. That's called satire, kids. Look it up. All right. Anything else you want to make sure we talk about, Sejohn, before we send this one off?
No, nothing huge this week. I still want to talk forever about Resident Evil 9 because I've just been re-experiencing that game through a bunch of YouTube stuff right now, and I just
have you solved the final puzzle yet? Are you aware of the final puzzle? Did you figure out what to do with the hand? Yeah, there's a lot to do with the hand. There's a lot going on there.
I thought it was going to be like the dummy finger in 7. It's just going to be a thing you have.
The dummy finger in 7 you could put in the fuse box, Sejohn.
Yeah, but you couldn't. But you didn't do anything, right?
I think it gave you a little thing in the files. No, that hand. Oh, it's a big puzzle. It's a real big puzzle that I just haven't gone back in and done the final of yet. because
gotta look this up now. Then
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go through just to do the hand puzzle, but I will definitely look into it. I had no idea that that people had figured something out.
It's been figured out. I gotta do it.
Well, there
I
was
should do
another
it.
thing
Yeah.
too, right? There's a there's another item that you can pick up later in the game that seems kind of like weird that they let you pick it up. I can't remember what it is now. All right, I'm gonna have to go back and dive into some Resident Evil 9 stuff.
So, yeah.
But no, I like the big thing was I got to go back through and see like some of the files and stuff on Victor, because like there's apparently a lot of stuff that ties him to the Nemesis program, which makes total sense that he'd be like a super evolved version of Nemesis.
He is a Nemesis. Like at the end, that's my favorite thing. Spoilers. But when he does, he's like, Leon, of course he's a Nemesis. That explains everything.
That's right. He does call him out for that. Yeah.
He calls out the fact that it's a
so like
Nemesis,
I wanna go back and read more about that, because he's apparently like he is like an alpha Nemesis or whatever you want to call him.
He's a refined version of Nemesis with like more it is very interesting. I don't know it all 100%, but my favorite thing about that is that when you fight Nemesis, and at least the RE3 remake, Jill has to use that big fucking rail gun to kill it. Mm-hmm. But Leon, I beat him with just my pistol as Leon on modern mode. Like,
the idea that you have to parry a missile, right? Like this game is ridiculous. I love it so much.
It's a lot of fun.
We'll talk more about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. All right, cool. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Say Report. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, you can join our Discord. Invitations to join are available wherever we are on social media, which as of this recording is still Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. We're also still on Discord, right? Like, we should probably plan a production meeting and decide what we're doing. But we've been lazy because it's just been such a long winter. I know that it's been spring for almost a month, but doesn't it still kind of feel like winter, Sejohn? Or is it just that I feel like I'm in the holding pattern we were talking about, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago?
Right? Yeah, man. Yeah, you're talking to somebody that didn't have a winter this year, so we're trucking along into summer already here.
Well, congratulations. It feels like winter has never ended in New England. I'll say that. Also, speaking of that holding pattern, I drove to 4 different gas stations last night before I found one that was below $4. Thumbs up. But right now we have a Discord server. Join the Discord server. If you go to where we are on Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, look at our bio. There's an invitation to join, or you can contact us directly, thesayreport@gmail.com. We'll facilitate you with an invitation to join. But if you just want to communicate with us away from the trappings of social media, emails sent to thesayreport@gmail.com. They'll still be read. We'll still enjoy them. And the most important thing to remember is that if you want to send something for just me, Devon Decker, or just him, Sejohn Sarwick, put our first name in the subject line, and it will be distributed appropriately to the Say Reporter of your choosing. But please note that if you send something to Sejohn that he thinks is worthwhile and should be discussed on the show, that might happen. Anything submitted to the Say Report opens itself up to being discussed on the Say Report.
I've noticed that you always like to blame me in this moment and say if it's me that gets it, I will be the one to bring it up. You never talk about if you get something, you'll bring it up too.
Well, I say that because the only person who's ever gotten any mail is you. If I got mail, yes, I would use myself as an example. But they said everybody wants to know what Sejohn's doing. And I don't know what. It's just Sejohn. And then I have to send it to you for you to read. So how's this, Sejohn? Next week I'll blame me. Is that fair? Does that sound fair? All right. Well, regardless, thank you so much again for joining us for this episode of the Say Report. We'll see you next week. And William, please bring us home. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devon Decker and Sejohn Sarwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.